room, we do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know, as much as you're talking about integrity, the saddest thing is that some of the lecturers in some universities don't have the integrity, truth be said, because they are part of, there's some lecturers who collude with students. Students has not sat for an exam, but you'll still find a student being given marks. Probably a student has failed, and you see a student probably talking a lecture. You've heard of those cases.
Yes.
And yet these are some of the people who were supposed to instill values to the students.
Yeah, and I think that tells you of a society that has that is sinking quite low in terms of values, so that even the people who should be actually imparting values have actually lost it. So that sometimes we have leaders in the community who should actually be role models, but actually they have no values.
Okay.
We have people in art industry whom the youth look at every day, listening to their music, but the next time we hear of bad things, you know, the youth hear that this person has done this, yet these youth actually depend on these people who are quite famous, you know, popular as their role models. So when as a teacher, I'm doing things that are negative, that actually are not in tandem with what I tell the learners. Of course, I'm not a good role model, and they may take that actually to be a lesson to them that actually what I'm doing is right. So actually what you are drawing us to is the fact that our society today has lost it. And we lost it, I think, in education. When we failed to realize that actually education is supposed to do much more than just say 1 + 1 is 2, you know, and maybe we started saying societhics, for instance, as a subject, is not useful. We started saying that CRE, you can just choose, or you know,
not do
choose. Yeah, you may choose not to do it, and we call you a well-integrated person. Really, you can't just dwell on mathematics and mathematics and mathematics throughout your life. You need to be holistic in terms of how you are modeled.
Okay. Now let's go back to this conference that we are expecting. What is the main aim of this conference, and what do we expect to come out during the conference and also after the conference?
One of the things that we are focusing on, first of all, it's something, there are various thematics in this conference. And I think one of them is looking at the curriculum, the current curriculum, and even looking at the revised curriculum.
You're talking about the curriculum for
844?
844?
Yes.
Okay.
And various presenters have been talking about the current curriculum that is being implemented. There's a pilot study, that's what they say, it's a pilot study. How is it going really to change the life of the learner as well as the life of transforming the society in that sense? So I think that is one thing that we have been looking at, curriculum itself. The other thing that we have been looking at is another thing that is coming out is education for transformation. And that is what many presenters have been presenting papers on that. And then another aspect that we are also looking at is, as we have been saying since we started, it's like our education system, we've been really focusing on the cognitive abilities. And I think there is one aspect that we want to bring on board here, the emotional intelligence. Because what we know is that the cognitive aspect and the emotions really go together. There's no way we can be able to separate them. And that's what our system has been doing. And in this conference, what we are trying to see, the emotions also is an important aspect that should really be kind of brought back to the system. And that's why we are talking about emotional intelligence. Because once we do the emotional intelligence, we bring it into the curriculum. This is where the learner becomes aware of their own emotions. And once they become aware of it, you need to understand what is this emotion. And then from that aspect, how do I regulate that emotion? And then how do I manage it? And then it helps me to make decisions. And a lot of research has shown that this thing we are calling emotional intelligence is a very important aspect when it comes even to life adjustment. We see most of our students, they are not able to cope. there's a lot of stress.
It's like there's a lot of culture shock
Yes,
also.
yes, you know, when they are making that transition,
Yeah.
even the teachers, the workload. But if this aspect is brought, they will be helped to become aware how they can regulate these emotions. Consequently, how it influences the way they make decisions.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And okay, you saying something?
Yeah, so we are, if the outcome of this conference is that it will kind of help us see some of the things that we need to bring on board in our curriculum.
Okay.
As we think about, even at the university level, what are some of the things that we need to bring back into the curriculum so that this person is transformed and therefore will transform the society.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And Henry, Jane has talked about as a teacher, like as a lecturer, because you're a lecturer, trying to deal with the emotional aspect of a student, and of course, a student is trying to adapt to the new life, because life is about transition.
Sure.
Every area of our life is about transition. So how do you deal with that, with such kind of students who come to your class who are trying to do the transition from one stage to another?
Actually, that's a very good question. Thank you so much. Actually, even when learners come from high school, one, they have a lot of expectations. It's a transition. And when they come to the university, we do good orientation. And of course, we allocate them a mentor, or rather we assign them to a mentor who accompanies them as a way of transiting from, into the university.
So if today I walked into Tangaza University, I'll go through the normal process that every university goes through.
Yes.
That is orientation.
Yeah.
Then you're telling me that I'll be given a mentor.
Yes.
So for how long should I stay? Okay, probably you're going to talk about it. Let's continue.
Yeah. Of course, because of of course we have many students, you'd have a mentor with a group of mentees.
Okay.
And each one of them, of course, have got their own needs. So at one point, of course, you'd have a mentor having sessions one-to-one with a mentee, sometimes group sessions. And during these sessions, so much is discussed. You know, the issues they are going through, challenges they are going through, some of them are financial. And you know, that today most of the culture is becoming quite artificial, superficial in nature. So that the youth, especially in the university, are kind of living a show-off kind of lifestyle. So that when they see somebody is dressing in this manner, somebody is, living this kind of lifestyle, they want money. And it's the word sponsor is not new to you, and it's not new to you and me. So that now young girls in the university find it's normal to have a sponsor. It's okay.
Yeah.
So such things would be discussed in those groups, and therefore the youth would know, or rather the students would know that actually this is it's not
normal.
In the groups, of course, now you try to show them whenever you have financial issues.
Normal.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
So they are able to learn how to transit from high school to the university, and when they are leaving again, we hold workshops to prepare them for the job market. So that when they leave the university, they can create a job for themselves if they can't find one. And of course, like in education, most of them, once they finish, they are not able to secure TSC jobs immediately. So what would they be doing with themselves for the 2-3 years they'll be waiting to be employed by TSC? So we prepare them in a manner that they don't find it so difficult once they finish the university. Okay. So that preparation, accompanying them throughout the 4 years is very important. And most of the times we usually say that, these ones are adults because they're 18 years, so they're able to think for themselves. And we've had many university students actually being killed, others taking their own lives, others, going through so much, killing one another, issues of love triangle, issues, all that.
Okay.
Yeah, others are not able even to actually finish the university. So they need to be accompanied by mentors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jane, you're talking about the conference tackling curriculum reform, and basically you will be dwelling on the new curriculum, the pilot project that's being done by the government right now. But my question is there a need for the government to review the university curriculum?
I think so, because what we are even hearing from the employers, that once they leave, our students leave from the university, it's like, yes, they have the papers, but then there's something that is missing.
It's like they're not trained for the job market.
They are not trained for the job market. And that's why it is very important, I think, to look at our curriculum even at the university level. What is missing? That once the student leaves, the employer there is a gap, realizes there is a gap. They are not able to fit in. So I think there is a need for that to be done. Yeah.
Is it one of the things that probably you will be addressing within one of the probably suggestion or something you'll be talking about during the conference?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So how are you planning to go about it?
Actually, like yesterday, because the conference has kind of already started, like yesterday there was a presentation about employability skills, and the suggestion is to bring in some, like for instance, when even we are redesigning curriculums in the universities, the question was, rather the question that remains is, do we involve corporates, for instance, who are their prospective employers, when we are designing curriculum for the universities, when we are redesigning courses? Sometimes, do we also change the curriculum, the university curriculum, the courses, the course descriptions quite often in favor of the job market? So that is what is required. I know we usually go to the field, especially when we are designing before we design a program in the university, and they get to hear what actually is lacking in the society so that we can include it in the new program. But it is important to involve the corporates, especially when we are designing a program, so that at least they help in telling us exactly what kind of a person, what kind of a product do you want us to produce? What kind of a person would you find most useful as an employee?
Okay.
Because as she observes, or as she says, we have people who have degrees, but they cannot do anything.
Yeah. you have the paper, but you cannot deliver.
You can't deliver. You don't have ICT skills.
Yeah.
You can't tolerate one another at the place of work. You can't make critical decisions at the place of work. You know, a culture of people who are learned, but actually they can't deliver.
And you know, it makes me, if we just have a few minutes to wind up, it makes me feel like asking this question. So how has Tangaza University ensured that your students are ready for the job market?
I think one thing that Mr. Kamundi has said, as we look at our curriculum, we normally go out and we get what we call needs. We do a needs assessment before even we review our curriculum.
So you go out to the society? To
the stakeholders. Like, for instance, in the School of Education, we'll go to our alumni, use our alumni, because we want to see what we went to. Do you think you are really employable?
Okay.
We'll go to the principals in school, we'll go maybe to the TSC, so all the stakeholders, so that at least you get the
you have something
need.
Concrete, something, the need.
So, because you see a curriculum, we shouldn't be responding to a need. Even like now, as we listen to this competence-based curriculum, it's like, there's something that we also need to do in the School of Education, so that the people that we are training really fit into the job.
Okay.
Because we don't want to produce people who kind of, once they go out there,
they're not even ready. They're not even ready to deliver.
Yes.
Okay, and just in a second, because you're winding up, we've run out of time. Where is the conference taking place and when is it ending?
The conference is taking place at Tangaza University College, that is in Karen. And today, we are winding up, but then next week, because we are celebrating 25 years, as I said, of in the School of Education, next week on 8th we'll have a celebration to celebrate our 25 years.
Okay.
And all these presenters and their papers, we are hoping that we'll produce a journal. We are going to also to be having a journal. and then we will be able to communicate with the outer world what has been going on during this conference.
Okay, a conference on education for justice and transformation, 25 years, and you shall also be looking at some of the things that you discussed. Thank you so much, Henry, for talking to us, and Jane.
Thank you.
That is.